or one of the co-hosts, but I don't think me and the rest of the fucking co-hosts should be, stabbing Hip Hop Gamer with rhetoric, in a debate. It should be one-on-one, mano-a-mano. I just think that's fair. Not that people shouldn't, I'm not saying people shouldn't be allowed to express their opinions. They should be. But at least one at a time and not a group of people just, throwing flames at Hip Hop Gamer. Speaking of the Warzone, it wasn't on Friday. Sometimes we do have to take a break, if not for lifetime situations, emergencies, for our sanity. And I called off the show to take a break and to also meet with the co-hosts and come up with some new ideas for the Warzone, because I really don't like the way it's going. I've heard, gotten mail from the fans. They're getting tired of the bullshit. Same bullshit I'm getting tired of. I just don't really express it on the show. But I'm sure if you're listening closely, you can hear me in the background sighing and there's a lot of things that frustrate me. So we're making some hardcore changes to the format of the show. I'm not getting agendas from everybody like I used to at the beginning of the show. I'm going to have my agenda. I'm getting my agenda out of the way. We're going to have somebody do news. We got some funny stuff we're going to be doing. We're going to have all these different segments for the Warzone now. It'll keep it interesting. You'll know what to expect. It'll get more of the co-hosts involved. We'll still have the Hip Hop Gamer Power Hour, but that'll be shortened because, it is too long. I want to get the show down to 2 hours. I know you guys love the 4-hour shows when you're working or whatever, but I want to get it down to 2 hours. It needs to be 2 hours. So working on that. What else? Today's show, I have the first episode of Beyond the Lens of True Lies, where I do my own comparisons of PS3 and 360 games, and I did Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. But I'm not sitting here, I'm not going to pixel count for you, and I'm not going to zoom the textures up really close on one version of the game so it makes the textures look bad. I'm not going to do the bullshit that some of these sites do. I'm just going to have both the video clips for you on a nice 1080p Samsung 120 hertz screen, just so you could see what I'm seeing. You could see exactly what I'm seeing. You could see both the games together, and then you'll say, wow, regardless of resolution, regardless of texture, both these games look the same. You'll see some differences in the actual gameplay, because one's gorier than the other, but other than that, they're both 60 frames a second. The PlayStation version's got a higher resolution. I think it's a native 720 instead of a 585 like the 360, but the 360 one is upscaled to 720, and it's got some nice AA. But you will notice, if you look close to the big-titted blonde bombshell, you'll notice there's more jaggies on the 360 version than the PS3 version. Obviously, that's in due to the resolution. That's a resolution thing. So, but again, when you're playing the game, you can't notice it. So I got these two clips for you. I'm gonna play them both and then put them both on the same screen and split them down the middle so you can see both games. The demo is actually different. They did some different things with the demo. You'll see it for yourself on the screen. So I did that. I also did, because people don't understand, non-Forza players, people who don't have 360s, people who never play Forza, they don't understand the damage system, and Forza players always hailed Forza's damage system versus GT's non-damage system, but everybody thought it was always graphical damage that we were talking about, and it has not a damn thing to do with graphical damage. It's all about physical damage. I don't care what the fucking car looks like, or if there's parts flying off the car. I'm concerned with how the car controls and operates, or if it can operate at all after being in an accident. That's physical damage, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about Forza's damage system. If they go and they throw a bunch of physical graphical damage in GT, that'll be great. But if they don't add the physical damage to go with it, then they really haven't done what us racing fans want them to do. The reason you have physical damage in a game is so when you go online and asshats try running you off the road, they fuck up their car too. You know, people don't want to fuck their cars up. They want to finish the race. So that's why you have that in there. You got to have that physical damage. So I'll show you the 3 different damage modes in Forza. Not much on the show today. It's going to be a short show. You know, I wanted to rant for a while and show you those clips. It's not going to be a long Davis Weekly today, but you're still going to get it nonetheless. And is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh, if you're a true gamer, whether you have all systems or one system, if you play games and not consoles like I do, and you're tired of people, you're tired of fanboys trying to tell you which game is better, or trying to tell you which system is better, or you're sick and tired of people telling you, you know, what games suck. Anytime somebody says a game sucks that you like, don't argue with them. Just tell them how much you love that game. If you want to fight fanboyism with love. So if you love a game, tell people how much you love that game. When somebody says a game sucks, tell them how much you love it. Okay, tell them how much you enjoy playing it. You know, that's what I was doing with Heavenly Sword. Everybody was dogging Heavenly Sword. I kept telling them how dope that fucking game was, and how I still think it's one of the best games in the PlayStation 3 library. You know, always bring that up. So whenever, you know, if you're sick of people dogging your games, tell them how much you love the game. That's what you got to do. Because fanboys are irrational. They can't be reasoned with. They're like fucking Terminators. So to sit there and argue with somebody is just, you're wasting your time. Just tell them how much you love your games and how much you love playing your games. Because fanboys, they don't love playing their games. They like counting pixels. They like worrying about sales numbers. You know, just like Blade and them getting on my case because I only spent a couple minutes on PlayStation's 500,000 sales surge. Everybody knows that we try not to talk sales on the Warzone, so I only spent a couple minutes on it, and they're like, he should have spent more time on that. Well, what the fuck else you want me to say? This little piggy went to the market, this little PlayStation stayed home? You want me to count 500,000 PlayStations? What do you want me to say? Sony sold 500,000 PlayStations. What else is there to say about that? You know? Yeah, I briefly want to talk about ODST. Again, the funny thing about ODST, so a lot of people, you know, people who haven't bought the game, some people who have bought the game didn't think it was worth $60. Here's my take on the whole $60 thing. Let me go way back. So, originally ODST, or Halo Recon, was an expansion that required Halo 3. You had to have Halo 3 to play it, and I think it was going to be downloadable content. I can't remember if they were going to make it downloadable or put it on a disc. I think it was going to be downloadable content. You had to have Halo 3 to play it. Bungie extended the campaign so much that it became a full game and no longer just a downloadable expansion. It was bigger than your average downloadable, or bigger than they wanted it to be. I guess twice the size than it originally was. Okay, so let's change the name, and now it's a full game. So that's one thing they did. They added more content. Okay? Then Microsoft was like, well, since the game is almost a full-size game now, let's not require people to have Halo to play the game. So they made it standalone. So now you don't have to have Halo 3 to play Halo DST. There's two things they did. And obviously, since it's a full game now and it's standalone, and oh yeah, let's put it on a disc too. Let's charge $60 for it. Now, there's a lot of games out there with 6-hour, 7-hour campaigns. We know this. That are $60. Okay? The way I look at it, as being worth it to me, is because I gave my copy of Halo 3 to my son, and I was going to go pick up a $20 copy of Halo 3 for myself so I can continue playing online. When I found out about ODST and I picked that up for $60, voila, that second disc has the Halo 3 multiplayer on it. so I didn't have to buy another copy of Halo 3 now. So that's $20 right there, and then another $40 for firefighting the new campaign.